Hi everyone, it's Learn with Ceri, and I've got some more solutions, tips and tricks for you for Band 2 Quest 3. I hope you enjoyed this week's quest. There are some lovely questions on there to give your brains a workout. In this video, I'm going to give example solutions to questions 3, 7 and 10. Here we go. Professor Piper provides piccolo and percussion lessons. A piccolo lesson costs $37 and a percussion lesson costs $43. If a student needs to rent a piccolo, it costs $23 for the entire year. It costs $87 to rent percussion instruments for the entire year. Last year, Professor Piper provided 24 piccolo lessons and 28 percussion lessons. 4 of the piccolo students rented a piccolo and 8 of the percussion students rented a percussion equipment. How much money did Professor Piper make? I don't know about you, but I noticed that the units were 3s and 7s and they make 10. So I'm thinking there's going to be a quick way, a nice way to solve this problem. First, let's make a little bit of space on the screen. Let's have a think about the piccolo first. So, if we imagine that the 4 students that were renting the piccolos paid for that rental on their first lesson, and then all of the other lessons are standard lesson rate. So we need to calculate what 4 lots of, so for those 4 people, they need to pay their rental and their lesson. Now the rent plus lesson is going to be 37 plus the extra 23, which is a nice quick add because of this 7. Add 3. So 7 and 3 is 10, 30 and 20 is 50. So it's $60. So let's imagine that those first 4 lessons for those pupils, that costs $60. And then after that, all the other piccolo lessons are all a rate of $37. And there's 24 lessons altogether. So 20 lessons are at 37. So the reason I've done this is because it's actually much easier calculation now. You've got 4 lots of 60, so 4 6s are 24 times 10, and 20 times 37, so double 37 is going to be 74, plus your times 10 there, because it wasn't double, it was times 20. So from the piccolo lessons and rental, Professor Piper is going to make $980. And let's go for the same with the percussion. So the rental plus a lesson, there you go, there's your nice 7 and 3 again, 43 and 87. So the 80 and 40, 120, 7 and 3 is an extra 10. So we're trying to do those things in our heads because obviously you're against the clock in your quest. So let's have a look at that. There was 8 students who rented. So we've got 8 lots of 130 and there were 28 lessons altogether. So the other 20 lessons are standard lesson rate, which is 43. So those numbers are a bit easier to work with. 8 times 100, 800. 8 times 30, 8 3s are 24 with an extra times 10 there. So 800 and 240 is 1040. And then 20 times 43, so we need to double our 43 and times by 10, so 86, 860. And so that total income is 4 add 6 makes 10, 1,900. So Professor Piper's percussion lessons makes 1,900 and 980. Maybe I should have added 2,000 and taken off 100. But there we go, 2,880 is our final answer for that question. Here's an area question. Were you more or less efficient than me with how you solved it? We've got to work out the area of the rectilinear shape below. And so what I did was I started by surrounding it by a complete rectangle. Then I'm going to work out that area and subtract these areas that we don't need. So my first step is to have a quick look at the horizontal lengths. So we've got a 4 and a 6 there. Total horizontal length is 10. And going across here, let's fill in these gaps here. Let's have 2, 3, 3, so that's 8. So this length there is a 2 as well. And let's look at the vertical distances. So we've got a 2 and a 5. So the total vertical height is 7. So this one here must be a 4 because we've got a 3 and a 4 to also make 7. We've filled in all the gaps. So the main area around the outside is a 10 across by 7 verticals. That's an area of 70. And my other area is a 2 by 6. That's a 12. 2 by 4, that's an 8. 12 and 8 is 20. And this little bit here is a 4. So we've got a final answer of 70 minus those bits which add up to 24. So that gives us 70 minus 20 minus 4 gives us 46. And there you go. Just a quick one there. Hopefully you got that 46 as well. Lovely. So let's have a look at a fractions question. We've got to let m over n be a fraction such that m over n is equal to 1 over a plus 1 over b. And a and b are distinct whole numbers greater than or equal to 2, so they're not the same as each other. And what is the smallest possible value of m plus n? Right, so my approach to this one is to sort of think backwards really, and I would ideally like m plus n to be 1 plus 2. Is that even possible though? Can we get a half 1 over 2? Can we add 2 unit fractions to get the answer of a half? Okay, not sure, but so half. Think of half a pizza there. What's the next size down in a unit fraction from a half? That would be a third, would be a piece as close as we can get to a half with a unit fraction. What do we need to add to a third to get a half? So let's subtract a third from a half. So I quite like to do a quick 2 by 3 is 6, 1 times 3 is 3, minus 1 times 2 is 2. Oh, that's good, because we've got 1/6. So actually, a third plus a sixth actually gives you 3/6, which is a half. So it is possible, and so a half is a possible value. So the smallest possible value of m plus n is 1 plus 2, which is 3. So there you go. I hope this week went well for you guys, and all the best for Quest 4 next week. You're over halfway now. Well done, everybody.